Hey guys, Monica here, and I just can't contain my excitement. As most of you know by now, the Supreme Court has ruled marriage equality for all. Such a blessing and triumph for equality and love for all. So I'm so stoked, and how cool that it is coming down in the month of Gay Pride. So something certainly to be proud of. This country, we're taking steps forward and change is happening. So yay, Minnie's happy as well. Today I wanted to talk a little bit along those lines about the power of beliefs. So, it occurs to me with something as huge as this change in law that, it's taken decades upon decades of people believing it was possible and acting toward the fulfillment of those beliefs and really committing their everything to it. And I think that we can all learn something from that. I think for me, it just reaffirms how powerful our beliefs are on an individual and collective level. And it begins on the individual level, as we know, right? So if we can look at our own belief system, which oftentimes I think when we really get down to it and commit pen to paper and really get honest with ourselves, we'll find that maybe we're holding on to some beliefs that either one, aren't even our own, that perhaps we've sort of adopted or inherited from childhood from our parents, right? Very common. Or we're holding on to beliefs that no longer serve us. So perhaps when we were young, we had a certain belief that kind of kept us safe and protected, and perhaps it wasn't even one that served us then, but we've certainly allowed it to outserve its function or its usefulness, and now it's only holding us back. So I think sometimes when we really look at the beliefs that are uplifting and supporting us versus those that are holding us back, we begin to see that we can choose the more uplifting, the more supportive, the more empowering beliefs. And we have that ability, we have that power, so why would we not? Why would we allow ourselves to be confined by limiting beliefs? Scarcity-based beliefs, I think, are really common. We just have to believe that it's possible to have bigger and better lives, and we will. It's certainly a starting place, it's certainly the foundation. So I thought I would just outline what I find to be 3 tips to return to again and again when I am examining my beliefs. Perhaps I think that I'm feeling or believing one way, and yet I'm experiencing a result that I don't like. And so there's an incongruity there, there's a disconnect. And so I can look at, okay, what are my real beliefs here? What are my actions saying I believe? Because sometimes if we're really kind of confused as to where that discrepancy comes from, we can look at, okay, well, what is it that I think that I believe, or that I tell myself I'm believing, and what is it that my actions would tell the world, or more importantly, tell me about my beliefs? And I think if we really look at it that way, we can come to see things that we can begin to adjust. Let me make it a little more concrete. So, growing up, I was really, really heavy, and I had this belief for a long time that my fat, so to speak, or my extra weight was a protection, was a source of sort of insulation from the outside world, and it protected me for a while. So it did serve at one point a useful function. It may not have been very advantageous in the long run, but it was something that at least protected me when I felt like I needed protection, namely when I was, in my adolescent years. So as I began to mature, adulthood neared, and I knew, the perils of eating certain things, and I knew that I didn't feel good in my skin, and I knew that I wasn't experiencing the kind of social benefits that I wanted to be experiencing like every other high schooler. I began to ditch that belief that being overweight was a good thing or was something that was helpful. And as I dropped that belief, I also dropped the weight. And these days, I know that I don't need that protection from the outside world. I can be myself at whatever size, and it's okay. And yet that belief, it was in place for many years, and it wasn't something I ever even consciously looked at, but looking back, I can very much see that as that belief began to outserve its function, my life began to change, and I began to redefine what I believed about my body and my relationship to other people and to the world around me. So I think if we're experiencing certain results in our lives that we really don't like, maybe we don't have enough money, maybe or we feel we don't have enough money, we aren't getting where we want professionally or in our relationships, I think it's really helpful to sometimes look at not only our past beliefs in that area, but maybe what we're presently allowing ourselves to succumb to and not even realizing it. Perhaps we feel on some root level that we're not worthy of the financial success or the professional success that we're seeking. And so if that's the case, I think we have to really look at those deep-rooted issues, perhaps seek therapy, perhaps just, getting honest about it with ourselves and getting into a meditation practice. There's a number of ways we can begin to heal. I'll talk about some of that another time, but I think it all starts with looking at our beliefs. So again, I would just encourage you guys, if there is an area in your life, or if you're just one of these people like myself that likes to do this stuff on Friday night for kicks, write out, what it is that are your major beliefs in all the major areas, work, love, all that good stuff, and, compare them to the beliefs that you want to be having, that you would need to have to experience the results that you want, and begin to live and define yourself according to those beliefs. And soon your reality will reflect that, or eventually. That's been my experience. So hope this was helpful for you guys. If so, please consider subscribing to my channel, pass this video along, and I'll see you guys next time. Be well.